Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I've met most of you. Thank you for coming. I'm Jason Venneman with Amatrol. With me today, we've got a special treat. I've got Miss Renee Tomlinson. She's Executive Director with the ESCO Group. And what we're going to do today, it's a little different than probably what you've sat in on before. And here's why I'm going to do it this way. In this environment, we all have our plates full, in my opinion. We've all been to presentations. We've seen a lot of people. And as I've done presentations in the past, everybody in the audience, they nod their head and they say yes to everything. As soon as we walk out the door, everyone goes off and they forget about everything that we're going to do. So we're going to dial this back a little bit. And my intention on this presentation is to give you the tools that you need to become and see us to ask questions to have a deeper dive, because there's no way we can build a program in 30 minutes on the topic of HVAC just now. So let's consider this to be the starting point, the stepping stone of something greater. Can we all agree on that? All right. So in our booth with me also, we have a bunch of professionals. We have Mr. Paul Perkins, who's president and CEO of Amatrol, and he's really the visionary behind everything that we do. So he's a plethora of knowledge. He's a great guy. He's easy to talk to. Also with us and sitting in the crowd tonight is our Vice President of Sales, Mr. Kent Powell. Mr. Kent Powell comes to us with years and years and years of experience of building programs, connecting the dots, and creating the relationships needed to be successful. So he's a great tool for us, somebody that I lean on whenever I have questions, and somebody that can help bring it all together. The next two gentlemen, Mr. Jason Everett and Dan Heim, they are like myself. They are regional managers across North America, and we are the backbone behind the distributors that help you guys out. So all of us are equally important to talk to. Third generation, Jacob Perkins. One thing about Amatrol, whenever you decide to go the Amatrol road, one thing you do not have to question is longevity. So we've been in certain meetings and we've been in certain situations where the question has come up, what is going to happen in 5 years? What's going to happen in 15 years? If we go down this road, what are we going to expect? Well, with the third generation up and coming through the company, we plan on being here not only 10, 15, 20 years, but for the next 30, 35, or whatever Jacob decides to do when he retires. Mr. Jared Clapp is with us also. So he's our multimedia guy, very sharp, very intelligent. He's actually out there working the booth, and he can answer any question just as well as I can. So the guy's great. Mr. Clifton Beck is in the back. Now, Mr. Clifton Beck is with the ESCO Group. So he's part of the HVAC Excellence team. And one of those microphones up here is his, and he's part of their digital multimedia engine. And so he actually does a podcast that helps everything out a lot. And it's pretty exciting. Now with Mr. Clifton, I'm going to give a shout out. Yeah, there's that look. Mr. Clifton Beck also has a podcast, and this podcast is a very, very big thing in the world of HVAC, something that we haven't had before. Within the last 2 years, it has grown to be roughly 200,000 viewers per month for his podcast. Is that number right, Cliff? Yeah, he's nodding his head, yes. So what that actually does is that has actually put the world of HVAC on a global market. He's in 116 countries now, but it gives relevant information, factual stuff at the turn of a hat. And we even have instructors that stop their class, watch the podcast, and they do tests and refine whatever Clifton is teaching of that day. It's becoming a very, very big thing. So I want to give a shout out to Clifton, because without his marketing and HVAC Excellence's marketing in the world of HVAC, we would stay in the dark ages. And what I mean by the dark ages, HVAC is now up and coming in the technology sector to be more relevant, right? It's becoming more sexy for our younger generation. It's becoming more engaging, and with his podcast and everything, the word's getting out there quicker to help us with the the job market and everything that we know the numbers about. So there's been something that's happened very recently. Amatrol and HVAC Excellence has entered into a partnership. What that partnership has done is by those two teams coming together, the benefits for you is now the most powerful global training system in the world. And the reason we can say that is Amatrol comes in with curriculum and equipment. HVAC Excellence comes in with certifications and national clout that what they do is going to be relevant, and it is going to be the future of the industry. So I'm going to take a minute here. I'm going to go through my company and what it brings to the table for some of you that don't know. Miss Renee is going to come up and talk about their company, and then we're going to talk about the combination of the two and how that benefits you and what boxes you need to check when you're building programs. We've got all different people in here. Some of us have built programs before. Some of us are administration. Some of us are instructors. There's always questions to be asked, right? What do we need to do to get from point A to point B? So that's what we're going to cover. So we as Amatrol, we are actually a curriculum company. Now in our curriculum, for those of you that don't know, we've got 3,000 plus hours over many technology sectors. Our curriculum has been in development for over 40 years, so it's been refined time and time again. In fact, we have a multimedia department, and for every 1 hour of curriculum that you see on your end, it took us 200 hours of development to put it all together. So it's very relevant, it's very robust, it's very professional. Most importantly, it's very engaging for the student. And I'm thinking about my 15-year-old daughter when I say that. If I can keep her engaged in something for more than 3 seconds, it's a home run. And I can see that some of you are nodding your head, thinking you've got students like that also. We're also the equipment company. Now, most of you know Amatrol. You see our booth out there, and when you walk into a program, you see everything that's big and blue. Our equipment is specifically built to match the curriculum. So we have the only equipment curriculum combo that is exact matching. We will not build something unless it is a hands-on proof of knowledge to support the curriculum and the skill set that they need to learn at that particular time, okay? So that's a 1-2 punch. We believe in a systems approach. We do not believe in a component approach. So there are several aspects to make you, your instructors, and your program successful versus just selling something and hoping everyone gets the best out of it, right? Let's make it work. We are also an instructor training company. One of our pillars, one of our prides is training your instructors to be quality instructors. In today's world, especially HVAC, we understand some of the instructors may be product matter experts, but they may not have the knowledge to be a professional instructor. Other programs, we might have the high school football coach. We might have a history major. How do we as Amatrol make sure everybody's on the same playing field so those students that come out of there are of equal quality? So all your programs are the same. So we want a high bar. So we teach the instructors to be quality instructors. We can do that at Amatrol. We can do that at your location, or we have satellite training centers across the nation. So that's just a deeper conversation when we get further down the road. We are also 24/7. We have an LMS that allows us to deliver the curriculum anytime, anywhere. That has allowed the flexibility for a lot of your programs to go into a hybrid model where you can teach theory and then teach hands-on or however you deem necessary. This has become very successful at the high school level, the post-secondary level, credit, workforce. It really is what ties it all together. Now, HVAC Excellence. I'm going to have Miss Renee explain a little bit about them, and then I'll come back and tie it together.
All right. I'm not as tall as Jason, so I've got to adjust these. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna lose Clifton's mic here. There we go. All right. This one will not tighten there. Apologize. Okay. Does this one come off? Because I'm really terrible at standing still, so Thank you so much for joining. And Jason said it's very exciting to have this partnership where we can work together. Is anybody in this room already? Have you heard of HVAC Excellence or ESCO Institute? Okay. HVAC Excellence. Yes. So for those of you that don't know who our company is, HVAC Excellence is a standards and certification organization. We have been around since 1994. It is our mission to improve the technical competency of the industry by creating certifications and by creating standards for technical training programs. Okay. So one of the certifications that we are most known for in this industry is the EPA Section 608 certification. For those of you not from the industry, that is a required certification for people working in heating and air conditioning. They need it for their refrigerant license to manage, handle refrigerant. That is one of the certifications that we have been around and doing for years and years and years now, and probably the thing that you associate ESCO with the most. But we also offer student outcome assessments, high school level. We actually have progressive level of certifications in addition to what we call employment ready certifications. So our employment ready certifications are actually discipline specific certifications. So we're not doing one big certification exam that we're covering one question on this and one question on that. We're actually breaking down into actual competencies and individual topic and subject matter. So as I mentioned, we have certifications for every stage throughout the career. So at that fundamental starting level, at that EPA, because that's the first certification you need for working in the industry. And moving on to student outcome assessments, that high school level, employment ready. What's great is that the certifications are portable, they're stackable. And because you're earning certifications at various levels, each one is progressively getting more difficult. So we're not giving the same certifications at that student high school level that we're giving at the technician level. And in addition, if you notice here on our little pyramid, we actually even go all the way up to instructor certification as well. And we'll talk about that a little bit more in depth in just a moment. But as we mentioned here too, beyond the classroom, that's where our technician level or professional level certifications come in. So instructor credentialing, this is one area that we are also very well known for in this industry. The certification or credentialing of instructors is very important on the career and technical education side. Many of the instructors coming in to teach heating and air conditioning haven't been through formal educational process training, right? So how do we validate that they are good instructors? How do we validate that they know the subject matter that they're teaching? This is where the education credential or these educator credentials come in. So having your instructors participate in these educator credentialing exams actually helps to ensure that your instructors know the material that they are actually teaching in the classroom. And I threw that remote in my pocket, didn't I? Like I'm getting all comfortable here. So we talked about the educator credentialing. This is actually a series of certifications as well. So discipline-specific exams that lead to an actual credential for your instructor. We call it the Certified Master HVACR Educator. 7 discipline-specific certifications. On the programmatic accreditation side, we are the standard-setting organization for the industry. So if you are putting together an HVAC program, we guide you to our accreditation standards because it gives you something to work towards in putting your program together. If you already have a program, we point you at our certificate or our accreditation standards. You want to improve your program, the bar is set, right? These accreditation standards, so it's measuring 9 different things in your program, including the support from your administration, how you budget, how you lay out your program, the curriculum that you're using, utilizing certifications or assessments, but not just for the sake of your students coming out with a piece of paper saying I'm certified. We actually are wanting to see that you're measuring those outcomes of your students and adjusting your curriculum to ensure that students are actually learning in your program. Okay, so that is one of the things that sets some of what we do apart. So, I'm sure that as educators, many of you are already familiar with accreditation and what that does for a program. So I don't think we have to spend a lot of time talking about how, it helps to attract students to your program when they know that you have some kind of seal of approval from a national standards organization to kind of show them that that program is of value. So in addition, as I mentioned, it does create a framework for self-improvement. So if you want to improve your program that already exists, go to those accreditation standards that will help to raise the bar. You want to see places that you might be missing or lacking. That could be the actual curriculum. Maybe there's something in the lab that you're missing. Maybe it's the instructor credentials, but the accreditation standards will definitely assist in helping you to raise the bar of your program. So standardizing the industry by validating job skills through certifications and assessments. We have been trusted across the industry for over 40 years now in offering the certifications and accreditations, and we standardize reliable feedback. So your students participating in certification examinations, again, it's not just for the value of having some kind of piece of paper, but it is for the value of also providing feedback to you as a program and to your instructors on areas of strengths and weakness in your curriculum and in how your students are learning what you're teaching. And I think Jason is going to come and bring us back together here. There you go.
All right, so we just got through a little bit of Amatrol and a little bit about HVAC excellence. How do they tie together and how does that really benefit you? So I'm going to ask you guys some questions. There's some things that most of you cover. These are questions you have amongst yourselves, but there might be a few things that maybe you haven't thought about yet. These are the type of things that whenever I, Renee, and anybody else on our team are assisting you in building these programs, these are always topics that come up. So I like to address them and bring them together to the front, and that creates a better conversation for all of us. We all know where our programs are today or where we want to start our programs today. The question always comes back to, where do you want your program to go? And then how do I get from point A to point B? That's really the common denominator for all of us in this room. How to get from point A to point B. We all know the numbers. We all know the need. Let's skip that and let's get right down to business. So let's ask yourself some questions. Let's start checking these boxes, because when we get these boxes checked, then we can get the answers and we can move it on down the road. First question, who needs your HVAC training and certificates, right? Very first question, who benefits? Is the school going to benefit? Is the local industry going to benefit? Is the student, most importantly, is the student going to benefit from you having this program? Okay. Once you establish and answer these questions, the point A to point B conversation becomes a lot easier. We already have the roadmap now that we know which road to drive down. Community support. Now, I would imagine all of you in here, you have got community support. You have got industry that are asking for something. What that something is what we're formulating now. Okay. Administration is a big question. Parents are a big question. If you're high school, if you're post-secondary, if you're workforce, if you're for credit, all this ties into that. Who's going to support the program? Okay, what? We know we need this program. We know what's going to happen. So on the what side of the house, now, what curriculum is going to fulfill our needs? How are we going to get those skill sets, right? What certifications are going to bring value to the students? Sometimes we are in locations, and all of you are across the nation. Some of your locations are not asking for certifications. Here is my rebuttal to that every time. Would you rather have a person that has a certification, and I can show you beyond a benefit of a doubt that they know skill X, Y, and Z versus the guy that doesn't? I'm an industrial electrician by trade. Years ago, I was working for Tyson Foods, and whenever I would hire and fire a guy, whenever I'd interview them, I just have to take their word on something, right? I would put them out on the line. They'd troubleshoot a scenario, and they might change out a $600 motor whenever I actually had a $10 bearing that was the issue. Can some of you guys relate with that? With the standards, I would know where to put that person on that line, and it takes questioning out. It actually benefits your employers because now they have a starting point. It could be an up in scale. It could be a number 2 level tech or whatever based on the certifications. So I'm always an advocate for certifications purely for the fact that we know the starting point of the people being hired. Okay. That's a big thing to me. Now that we know that, what equipment? Well, Amatrol's got a good line of equipment. Everybody's got a good line of equipment. But some of the things that we put together specifically coincide with those certifications, and we create them to have the easy button for you and your instructors to get that point A to point B, okay? When? All right. When's the big question, because everybody's on your back right now saying you need a program and I need 15 people tomorrow. And you're thinking in the back of your mind, well, that's not really realistic because I need so much time to be able to build up this person if I can even find them, right? So on the when side, when do you need to start your program? When does my employers, my local industry, whomever need the people? And when can I get all the parties to the table? One of the things I want to point out, when can I get all the parties to the table? This, in my mind, I'm thinking advisory committees. I'm thinking local industry. I'm thinking people having skin in the game, okay? They're the ones that are really dictating what your local community needs. They're the ones that are going to be hiring your people, so they deserve to have a voice. Whenever they have that voice, can you bring them to the table to tell them what you need, and then you can be able to tell them what you can provide, and you guys meet in the middle. So there's a conversation beyond everything else on building your program and how to structure it. Your advisory committees are very important. Most of you know this, but I have been in conversations where they want to build this elaborate program and be the best in the nation, but they haven't had a conversation outside their own walls. So how do they determine what they need to do? Okay, so there's conversations we have with people. Where? Brick and mortar always comes to play in this one. Do you have sufficient space on your campus? Do you have enough room for the student counts that you're getting ready to have? And do you need to add a mobile or a hybrid delivery system? Okay, so now this is on the delivery side of the house. Do we have the space to put in a program? HVAC programs are equipment heavy, right? We all know this. They take up a ton of space. Can we get by with what we have at our local school? Is our school talking about building another building? Is the applications that we need going to be more efficient if we put it in a trailer? Or are we going to do an online delivery system where we can teach 100 people theory and then bring them in one at a time for the hands-on proof of knowledge? All these are options to you guys. And all these are very successful across the nation. And we actually have examples of all these that we can pick from and use as templates for whatever scenarios you've got. So we're coming at this with the experience of building these programs and asking these questions. And so whenever you start checking these boxes, we probably have somebody that's already been down that road. So then we can put you in a scenario where you can have peer-on-peer conversations versus just the measly sales guy, right? So we're bringing that to you also. Why? We all know the why, but why will people come to your program? In the world of HVAC, from my experience, there's only two types of programs. There is the 1970s program, and then there's the progressive program. Today's students are not going to the 1970s programs. Today's students are going to the upgraded programs that have more skill sets because that's what they can relate to. We've got computer aspects to it. There is stuff that is familiar and it is cleaner technology. Remember, you guys, your HVAC, you are 10 years behind where industrial maintenance and all the industry 4.0 stuff has happened. So you're on this up ramp of technology that we've got to teach. Us, Amatrol, ESCO, and everyone else can use what we are good at, apply it to your programs, and get that multi-level technician that also knows cybersecurity and how to protect the home environment while installing an HVAC system. How do you do it? How do you get started? A lot of these conversations are on your side, but then funding becomes the issue, right? Here's what we have to say. ESCO, Amatrol, we don't have funding sources, but we know the people. ESCO is tied in with everybody at the government level, and they know the numbers, they know where the money's at. Can you apply for it? Yes. Worth conversations with Clifton and his team, with Renee, to go on that aspect. So you guys are not on an island. And how do you build that sustainable program? Well, sustainability. Let's talk about that for a second. How are you going to get people in your program, right? We already established that. How are you going to keep people in your program? Well, it's going to be word of mouth. You build it and they will come. I know that's kind of a cliche saying, but every scenario that we have seen that has built a quality program has grown up. Clifton, we had a conversation last night, and he's got programs that were traditionally 40 students that are knocking at the door at 400 students because they've upgraded their technology, and the students that were going to go to those 1970s labs are now going to the more progressive labs. That's why I say there's only two types of HVAC labs, those that are growing and those that are dying. It gives us an option of where we want to be, okay? So the partnership between us and HVAC Excellence actually is a home run for you guys because we have solutions already in place that check the boxes on everything that we just asked. Whenever you had your sheet of paper and you're checking boxes and you're thinking in the back of your minds right now, I need to talk to this guy, or I need to do this, or I need to do that, here's what we can provide. So our answers to your who, what, when, where, and how. Who? Who's really a broad one? It's kind of the easiest one to answer, right? Anyone needing skilled training in the HVAC industry, high school, retraining, career changes, whomever, everybody that can come to the program. The numbers today, are showing that we need 30,000 HVAC technicians per year from here on out. And that's only the more recent numbers. 2028 is going to be worse than that. 2030 is going to be worse than that because of the influx of students that we have coming into these programs, right? Whenever we bring in a solution, we have to be more efficient with our delivery so you can train more people more efficiently to get them right back out the door and to your local industries or however you want to do it. So we've got the answers on everybody that needs training and reskilled. What? So the what side of it is what certifications do you want to cover? Well, we've got the excellence certifications. What true training equipment looks like. Now, remember whenever I referenced earlier to the Amatrol training equipment and that it was exact matching to the curriculum? You guys are equipment heavy programs. What we specialize in is training equipment. So think of it this way. Think of us as the conduit to get from your fundamentals to your troubleshooting and hands-on skills, and then to your live equipment. And now just think of how much longer of a lifespan your live equipment will have once you have skilled technicians in there instead of stripping out every screw that you have on your live equipment on the wall. So think of our equipment as the conduit to get from the fundamentals all the way through to your live equipment and get them back out the door again, whatever scenario that works out. Our fundamental lineup, okay? If I were to start a new program today, and I've been working on this for a couple months, what would we need to do? In Amatrol, ACDC is the cornerstone of everything, HVAC or whatever it might be. We've got a trainer we call the 7017, and as you can see, it's electrical components. So if you get a student in your program and he does not understand Ohm's law, odds are this may not be the job path they want to go down. So we can eliminate that quickly. Or that student that goes through this, maybe they want to go be an electrician. Maybe they want to go be a plumber. It gives them options. But this is where we start everything. Basic refrigeration. The refrigeration cycle, guys, the 4 phases, just have them basically see. So those students that are like me being an electrician, I didn't learn anything until I stuck my finger in a light socket and remembered not to do that again. And some of you guys I can tell are the same way. But whenever you show a student, those left brain thinkers, how stuff works internally, it gives them better knowledge and allows them to retain more information. It's a very good trainer. A lot of high schools use it. A lot of recruiting centers use it. A lot of post-secondary and adult education centers use this as their base model just to get them started. Based on our industry support, one of the things that's lacking in your industry is HVAC control troubleshooting. So we have a specific trainer that we designed because of the information that Excellence has given us and our industry partners gave us on what's lacking is skill sets as a whole in the industry. So this is the answer. HVAC controls, the 24 volt circuit and everything. Charging refrigeration. Now, the cool thing about charging and refrigeration is you all have charging and refrigeration, but we have a curriculum written that matches and assists what your 608 has. And now in today's new world, we have it in 454B. And then eventually we'll have to go probably to 290 or something like that. So the charging and refrigeration, we're going to keep upgrading until we keep up with the industry trends. Once again, it's a tool for you guys to be able to do what you need to do to be more efficient. I like this one. Okay, after you learn your fundamentals, what do you do with everything? Well, let's put it all together. So what we've done is we've built a kit where one side of this is the west side and one of this is the electrical side. And your students actually go through and they build a fully functioning HVAC system. And that gives you as the instructor the teaching points to critique their workmanship. So not only are they learning the skills, they're starting to learn the hands-on knowledge and apply the real world applications that you need to give them. And of course, a big one that has come into play is what we call the mechanical fabrication, hand tools. How many of your students can't read a tape measure that are going into this technology? Sometimes we got to start them out at a plus and a minus screwdriver. That gives us a lot of leeway and that gives us a starting point, right? We have the curriculum built in, and a lot of my HVAC programs that are up and coming, they have put this in there just to give the students hands-on skills with a crescent wrench. Okay, something that the kids that are not that are not changing oil with dad anymore, they need those skill sets to be able to go into this technology. So this is like the base model starting lineup as an example of where we would start an HVAC program. Okay, we could take it on from there because we have enough where we've got a skill set to build them on through not only HVAC residential, but into HVAC industrial and commercial beyond what you're doing with residential. And a few things to look at on that is a mini split system, mini split with troubleshooting. We've got our system out here in the booth, which is excuse me, which is heat pump troubleshooting. So do we all know the numbers on heat pumps? The growing influx of heat pumps in the industry, no matter what zone you are in within the United States, this is the newest technology that's coming up. Commercial refrigeration, we cover it all. Industrial refrigeration, above and beyond, all the way through building automation and controls. So that's come to us as being a big thing here lately, is everybody's asking for automated information, okay? So think of skill sets as you're progressing through your program. And one of the reasons I'm showing it to you this way is know that when you start a Amatrol program, that's not the end. We will always be progressing. We'll always be building to the program. So as technology increases, your student counts increase, you have directions to go. Okay. There's never going to be a door closed. Future things. Does anybody recognize any of this stuff? Lighting, building automation, cold weather heat pumps, right? That's up and coming. The reason I'm showing you guys this stuff, the gas furnace controls, the commercial rooftop, the oil heat, is these are all certifications that ESCO has that we are aligning equipment with. So you have the hands-on training and proof of knowledge to get their certifications. Okay. That's why I'm showing you that. And that when, where, and why on our side of the house is really the same thing, because the growth of the industry, we are behind on. So if we get our technicians trained at a certain level, they can assist in that. But we're going to, whatever we do today, we need to do it tenfold, really, to be able to catch up with the numbers, if we ever will. So how? The most important answer to all the boxes and questions that you just checked is the how. We've got the curriculum and we've got the equipment to do the hands-on. HVAC Excellence has all the credentialing, certification pathways, as well as programmatic accreditation for the systems to be able to help you guys out. And both companies, we've got professionals nationwide in all of the territories, all of your states, all of your communities that are trained up just as well as I am to be able to build your programs. And if they're not, they've got myself, they've got Renee, they've got Clifton as backup to be their assistant. So I'm here to help you guys out on anything that you need anywhere in the world to build your HVAC program. Are there any questions on how to build programs? My whole goal was to give you enough information for us to have a conversation. If I would have given you everything right now, nobody would have remembered anything walking out that door. So I want to make sure we had quality information back at the booth where it's not so noisy and we can have one-on-one conversations and really dive into what you guys need versus doing a blanket presentation. Okay. So Mr. Renee, come up. Are there any questions for myself and Renee on how to build a program? And if there is, we can meet back in the booth. We can have the conversation right here, or we can start building your programs today. Mr. Beck. Okay, so a question came up. Will this presentation and video be available afterwards? The answer is yes. So you have access to everything I just said. The checklist, that checklist, guys, it's nothing new to you, but I've tried to format it so where mentally you can say A, B, C, and D, and then we've got the answer A, B, C, and D, and we can move down the road. Okay? So yes, this will be available for everybody. What's that again? Okay, so the question, that's a good question. How much space do you need for a program? That's an open-ended question. You know, the first thing that comes to my mind is 2,000 square feet, 10,000 square feet. Are you going to have 10 students? Or are you going to have 40 students? What's your local industry asking for? What's your regulations or limitations at the school? We've got programs that are in this room. We've got programs that are in 87,000 square feet facilities. So it depends on your outcome. Will kind of determine what we need to do for your income. You have anything to add to that?
I do. So additionally, what you can also look at is the HVAC Excellence Accreditation Manual. It actually gives you guidelines for building a program, like what your square footage should be, how you should space your equipment, how you should space out your classroom. So you can use that as a guideline for setting up a program without ever having to become accredited. That manual is on our website. You can download it and just access it just for the information on setting up your program.
Sure.
So he's asking if the curriculum has a space for the assessments and the certifications.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons for the partnership, or one of the benefits of that partnership, is that the curriculum that Amatrol has available is being aligned with the HVAC excellence competencies. So our certifications and assessments are all competency based. The curriculum is aligned to those competencies. So when you finish teaching charging, there's a basic refrigeration and charging procedure certification available, and they will have covered those competencies in that curriculum for you to give the assessment.
Something I forgot to mention within our library, HVAC preparatory library. So our equipment that has gone through the crosswalk to their certifications, we've got the easy button, right? So when you pull up our library, here is the exact skills you need to teach: A, B, C, and D. Here's the equipment to teach those skills: A, B, C, and D. You go down the line, you hit the easy button, and your guys have got it. So we have that on our library right now, and my guys can share with you and give you a demo of what that actually looks like. So there you go. You've got it. And as they progress, we've got 2 of them up there right now. This is a fresh partnership. We've got 5 more in the works, and then the new equipment, there's another 6. So their certifications, we are going to be the hands-on proof of knowledge to help you guys out. Okay. Sir, Oscar.
I assume that your curriculum or your assessments include a lab component. In other words, the student accesses a knowledge component.
A very good question, Oscar. So the question is, Oscar assumes that our curriculum has a lab component. Did I word that right? Okay. So, all right, let's break it down. Good question. Our curriculum is designed to have a lab component. In fact, our curriculum is designed to be in 7-minute increments. So think of my 15-year-old daughter, right? If I were to have her read something on the computer for 15 minutes and then go do an activity, she'd forget about it. The way we have our curriculum written is we do about a 4-minute read, a 3-minute hands-on activity, and then a test. We do a 4-minute read, a 3-minute activity, and then a quiz. And it just keeps reinforcing itself. So we back and forth with the theory and the hands-on instead of doing a theory hands-on. We want them to retain the information and have it repetitive enough that they just click right through it. I'm sorry, what's that again?
Trying to think conjunction with academic.
So explain academic.
They say on same title.
Okay, so we are a standalone company. Our partners are out of the industry. So forgive me, I'm not familiar with that particular company, but with our industrial partners, this is the direction that we've gone with it. Sir. Yes, I connect. Mm-hmm. Hey, these are very good questions, guys. This is what I want. I'd rather have a conversation with us based on a few things than just doing a presentation. I think it's more valuable for you guys to have peer-on-peer conversations and hear what everyone else is asking. Oscar.
My question is, if the school wants to get involved with you, is there a introductory cost involved, or is that just part of the way your company builds that relationship with that school? You know, in other words, I've got some new programs this year in Missouri. If one of the directors wants to call and start working with you, upfront costs or not?
For consultation and just talking about what are some ways we can build the program, what can we include? Absolutely not. So we are happy to have that initial opening conversation. I am sure all the folks at Amatrol are happy to do the same. No cost. Now, if we start digging into 10,000 hours worth of time, another story. But yeah, yeah,
We're here as a partner.
yep.
That's how we view it. And our job as your partner is to make you successful on various levels. I mean, instructor trainings, not only the equipment and curriculum, but the outcomes of what your students achieve. Sure.
I've been teaching 17 years. One thing I keep seeing is increased student numbers. For your accreditation, is there a cap on how many students per instructor?
Yes,
What is that cap?
I believe it's 15 students per one instructor. For the HVAC Excellence Accreditation, yes. Now, I say yes, but the answer is actually no. So lab aides. So if you have student aides in your classroom, lab aides in your classroom, but yes, instruction wise, they want a 15-to-1 ratio. But you can do things to help supplement that. We know that instructors are hard to come by. So, being accredited isn't the only thing that means your program is quality. If you follow the standards for most everything else, for your curriculum, for your tools, we want your program to reach that accreditation standard. But if there are certain things that are holding you back, like you're struggling to find another instructor, if you can bring an aide in, if you can start training a student to help be that student aide, that can help to get you there. Not everything is always black and white, and we know that.
You first. So the question is, are the trainers wall mounted? So when we sell our trainer, that's yours. We've got schools that take them off and wall mount them. Would I prefer that? Maybe not. But if it's our only option, then you're free to do what you want. The reason we like our trainers to be kind of mobile is as your classroom progresses, you've got options to trade equipment in and out and be more efficient. So it would be a deeper consultation, and we'd have more of a talk versus doing a wall mount and then you're kind of stuck. Okay, we want you to have options, ma'am. What does it cost? What does which part cost?
Like a package deal, what would we be looking like?
Awesome. How many students are you going to do?
How many students? 15.
15 students. Are you going to do certifications? Oh, so you want the real deal. You want it all. What state are you in? California, even better. So to answer that question, we've got Klein Industries or Klein Education as your local consultant. Do you work with Chris, Joe, or any of them? Oh, perfect. So those boxes that we got to check, those are the questions that are going to answer what we need to put in your program to give you that answer of here's your cost. Are we talking this amount or are we talking this amount? Do you have local investors that are helping with that? Probably not. Do you have state funds? These are all part of that bigger conversations. Okay. You and I can dive down in on that here in a little bit. Well, if there are no further questions, I left it out there like I'm doing an auction. Going once, going twice. Hey, everybody, thank you very much. I know there are a lot of breakouts. I know there's a lot of information, and I know this show is a cupful before you ever walk in the door. Hopefully what you've got out today was just to ask some questions and then have one of us help you answer those in a more deeper, meaningful manner. And I'm going to have Jacob, Generation 3, he's going to be at the door and he's going to scan some badges so we can at least send you some information if you guys so want. And that way, if we don't have a conversation, we'll get something taken care of. Okay. So on behalf of myself, thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Renee, thank you, everybody. Very, very good.